All right.
Well, you, dude.
Got my good friend Kevin Keat back. Flew down to Arizona to spend the day with me. We talked leadership. We talked our role as men. We talked business. We talked faith.
I think we covered just about everything right
out of the gate. But I think what we want to do is take a minute just to unpack what it means to be. What is our role as men?
Right.
In business. Who does God call us to be as men, as husbands, as fathers, as businessmen? You've been speaking to this for me all day, and I've been just taking notes like crazy.
I'm not no expert, man. Like I said, but I think it's key. We look at society, we watch things. Social media is everything. I mean, let's be honest. It's the way of the world, and marketing, occupying your time from whether you're sitting in a restroom, waiting for a flight. I mean, we're always on it, and there's so much crap that's being put into both women, men, children, you pick it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, we've got these words that nobody really even knows, narcissist, you know what I mean? Toxic, toxic masculinity, all of these things. And, we were talking about some of these people that I've been following. My job is catering to moms. That's my demographic through the Study Buddies. Mm-hmm. So I spend a lot of time looking at influencers, all those things, and what is out there? Who do you want to represent your brand?
Yeah.
What kind of life are they leading? Is it the skimpy little mom that's showing all this crazy stuff, or is it the one that's at home with their kids doing things, activities?
Yeah.
And I don't discount dads. I mean, there's a lot of single dads.
Yeah.
It's some of the statistics I've been reading are like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's true. With divorces and everything, it could be a lot of your market is single dads.
There's single dads that they need something.
Yeah.
Look, man, I even hate saying these things out loud and stuff, but what if something happened to your wife and you become a single dad?
Right. Oh my.
What do you do?
Yeah.
Where do you go?
Right.
We Google things, right?
Yeah.
We look at this stuff.
I call you.
Yeah, right. I know. Man,
Kevin,
he
please.
needs a new resource.
Yeah. This is a marketing video for my backup wife in case
you guys, he's going to need some serious help. No,
oh, God.
We're going to pray that nothing ever happens
Please,
of that
God,
sort.
yeah, thank you.
But there are people that those circumstances have happened to.
Yeah.
And they have to do it. But back to the role of, what does a God-fearing Christian man look like? We talked about some of the questions you're going to talk with your pastor and those things. You know what I mean? And these are the real things. I mean, we're in some crazy times.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not a doomsday prepper, but I'm also not stupid. I pay attention to the news. I pay attention to what the Bible talks about, the signs.
Right.
You know what I mean? And those things that are out there. So what are some of those questions? Like, we talked about intimacy. We think we use that word and we think intimacy is sex, right? I mean, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Intimacy.
It's romance, sex, yeah.
Sex, romance, all that stuff. But there's so much more for us as men with intimacy. Mm-hmm. And we discount that, oh, well, you're soft, you're weak, oh, be a man, toughen up. It's like, no, man, there's, what does intimacy mean to you? I know what it means to me, but what does it mean to you?
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier. I think, beyond sex, it's, appreciation.
Yeah.
It's some validation, some understanding, just trying to really put yourself in the other person's shoes. One of the things that I love that I get out of my time with you is when I ask you about business, and I'm eager to ask you all these questions. I'm like, okay, strategy, structure, hierarchy, employees, how do you all this stuff. And the first thing you told me was date night with your wife once a week, non-negotiable.
Yeah.
That was the first thing you said. That's the first thing you do.
Yeah.
And to me, that was like a sign of like how important that is, just not only from, forget business for a second, but like in terms of like passing on life lessons to me from someone who's walked it, saying,
didn't walk it the way I should have.
Yeah.
Learn from my mistakes.
Right.
I should have validated that time with her, made her feel most important. We talked about structure, and for you, those that are watching and stuff, my theory, and I believe it's the right theory, is God comes first and foremost. Second is yourself, because you have to be healthy.
Yeah.
You have to be able to carry that flag, to carry those things in the family and do those things. So your self-health is important, because you can't love somebody else if you don't love yourself. I mean, the Bible talks about, love your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your might, but love your neighbor as yourself. So you have to love yourself. That's the key ending wrap up of that verse. Second or third would be your wife. I mean, she comes before the kids. She was there before the kids. Praise the Lord. She'll be there with you, hopefully after the kids are gone and moved out.
Yeah.
Then it's the kids, and then it's the work, and everything else falls into place and whatever you decide to put into priorities. We've lost that alignment. We've really lost that alignment in today's society.
Meaning we prioritize business and money ahead of those things?
Oh yeah, I used to be like, well, I'm the provider, the priest, the prophet, the protector of the home. These are my roles.
Right.
Look at me. Look at what I'm accomplishing. We have nice homes, nice cars. We have all these great things.
You mentioned a key word for me there that touched on something. What do you think of roles, like in terms of, do you think roles are healthy or dangerous?
Oh, 100%. I think they're healthy.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we do have roles. You
Right.
know what I mean? I am not built to be nurturing and loving like a woman can. I don't have that in me. God put that in a woman for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now can you assume those roles to things? Yeah, I mean, come on, we can all do crazy things, right?
Yeah.
God gives us strength to do different things that are out there. Look, for you guys who are watching, I know you can critique, you can say different things that are out there, but the roles are really there for a husband and a wife. Look, we're not talking about, you know, circumstances of, you know, you've been divorced, you're a single mom, you're doing those things. You got to carry the weight of all those. Man, we'll pray for you guys. I'm basically a single dad. You know, my wife, we're separated. I got 2 kids. She's got 2. 2 are out of the house. You know, it's a crap show at best.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but we do have roles. I don't have that loving side sometimes that my wife had. You realize what you miss. So I don't think roles are bad. But I don't think we say, well, like I always tell everybody at work, don't tell me it's not your job. Because we all come together to do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
But you have a role that generally is taken care of by that spouse, that husband, that wife. Now, can the men come in and do dishes and cook and clean? You bet you. I mean, I have learned to love to cook.
Yeah.
You know? And so I do it sometimes. I don't do it all the time. There's times where I'm lazy. I'm like, order out, guys. We're not,
right.
You know, we're bacheloring it tonight.
We're door dashing tonight.
Yeah, we're door dashing today. You know what I mean? But yeah, so I quit labeling everything. You know, that's the problem. We think that everything has to have a label.
Mm-hmm.
Like I told you in the business, you're a team.
Yeah.
One day you're a pitcher, one day you're a coach, one day you're an outfielder, one day you're this. It just whatever needs to be done, right?
Right. You can only win as a team.
You can only win as a team.
You're not running a race. You're not swimming.
No, you're not an individual sport. You know, you're not running a track by yourself.
Yeah.
You're not swimming an event. You're a team sport, and that's what a company is about. How do you fester that? You know. But,
so what do you say to men who or women who are running a business and who are struggling right now with their work balance? With, you know, they hear that and it hurts because there's a twinge of pain because they know that that's them right now and they're prioritizing their business over their spouse or their business over God or business over their kids. You know, what would be your
nothing over
encouragement
God.
Right.
I mean, there probably are, but man, there's your alignment. Your alignment's off. You know, I'm a car guy. For those who've watched any of this stuff, I'm a diehard car guy.
Yeah.
I run a youth ministry teaching kids how to rebuild a car.
Yeah.
So let's take alignment on your car. If those tires are out of balance, it's off.
Yeah.
If those tires are, you know, your camber's in one way, they're going to wear wrong. If, you know, it's towed in, it's going to wear differently. You're going to wear it out into one area. Well, if you're not in alignment with your wife, it's going to wear on her. If you're not in alignment with your kids, it's going to wear on them.
Yeah.
If you're not in alignment with God, help you because you're going to need it because that's the one place you can't. So that's your first and foremost. So it goes back to that priority. You know what I mean? And that's what I was sharing with you is prioritizing your wife. I mean, look, man, God created Adam and he created a woman as a helpmate. And if you understand that word that God uses in there, and I'm not going to botch up how to say it because it's a Hebrew word.
Okay.
But what that word is the same word God describes himself as. So think about that.
Wow.
God described a woman as himself, as a helpmate. We have a heavenly Father, but he's given us a gift in her. And we have lost that looking at that woman as a gift, you know. And women are probably going to hate me because, look, I don't devalue you. In fact, I hold you at the highest esteem.
Yeah.
Like, without you guys, we as men can be a train wreck. You know?
Yeah.
Absolute train wreck.
Right.
So it's not that we are higher and stuff, but there is a hierarchy in the biblical sense of what a marriage is.
Yeah.
The end of the day, we as men will answer for our wife and our children before God. But that wife is not going to answer for her husband. You know, when Eve ate the apple, God didn't go to Eve and say, what happened? He went to Adam. What happened?
Yeah.
You know? And so,
and is that that touches on our role as a leader in the household?
100%. We are called.
So what does
to
that
lead.
mean in terms of, because one time I heard my pastor talk about how important it is to lead your family, to the will of God, and lead your family closer to God. Describe what that means if you're a business owner and your time's divided, or even if you're just working and life just lives. I mean,
You just say you're a person.
You're a
It's
person.
called-
Yeah, you don't be an entrepreneur,
right?
You could just be a person. You have all these problems.
You could be working at McDonald's in a fast food. I mean, whatever
But
it
you're
is.
trying to balance it all, right?
Yeah.
And you're struggling. You're overwhelmed. You have financial pressures. Maybe you have health-related pressures.
Oh, yeah.
How
Those are all real.
Yeah. How do you what's a good example of leadership? What does that look like to you as a man who's leading his family well, close to God?
Where is your relationship with God? I mean, that's it, right? That's the key. You can't lead with what you don't know.
Yeah.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
For me, I have started my day every day with a devotion.
Right.
I was telling you, I got a good friend. Won't mention his name, Al.
No
that,
last names.
that I send him a devotion almost every single day, and I try not to miss it.
Yeah.
And I hold myself accountable by sending it to him, so that I have to do it so that I can send it to him.
Yeah.
And sometimes people say, well, then you're just doing it out of repetition and stuff. Man, God's word never comes up void. And if you're filling yourself up with God's word,
yeah.
I mean, we talked about a cup, and my wife actually was my ex-wife was the one that brought that analogy up, is when you're filling your cup up with trash and, let's talk about guys, porn, lust, all of these things, when your cup is shaken, what comes out? All of that crap. But if you're filling it up with the Bible and love and your children and positive things, when that cup is shaken, that's what's going to come out. When your world is rattled, that's what you want to come out. Because I can speak from experience. My world was rattled after 26 years of a marriage, being a single dad now, basically.
Right.
I only get to see 2 of my kids full time, and the other 2 I barely get to see. Wow. And so now I've learned the value of filling my cup up with daily devotions. I'll share a story real quick because
you do have great stories.
My kids, my boys,
Yeah.
My one son Hatcher, I've been begging these kids I go to a Tuesday morning Bible study at like 5:45, 6 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, come on, go with me. No, right here it says the teenagers need more sleep, and they roll up all this Google stuff and everything. And I'm like, no, you need more Lord.
Yeah.
That'll give you the rest.
Yeah.
And you try to convince them, and you do all this stuff. Well, then all of a sudden, a couple of his friends start coming around, and then they start hearing me talk and hearing things, and they asking me questions.
Yeah.
And I might get a little emotional, but they've started to come to Bible study with me on Tuesday mornings. My son booked his chiropractor
How old
appointments.
is his?
So you've got one that's 16, one that's just turning 20 or just turned 21. Another one I think is like 18, 19.
Wow.
And so it started off with my son Hatcher coming with me. And then all of a sudden his buddy Gentry's like, well, I want to come, and now they're coming to church,
Awesome.
And so then all of a sudden, then this other kid, Max, comes. And then Logan wants to come, and Shane wants to come, but he took a job, so he can't come. But they all come to church on Sunday. Well, these older guys that are in this group, there's probably 15, 16 of us in this group of guys within a group of like 300 guys.
Yeah.
But they're there, and one of the guys, Fred, was like, man, you have restored my faith in this next generation by you kids, because they're answering the questions voluntarily. You know what I mean? And
So they're active in it too. It's not like they're just showing up
and I can tell you over the last 6 weeks or so with these kids being involved, they asked some questions on Tuesday. Yesterday it was some hard questions, and they're like, they asked the one kid, Gentry, like, who is we're talking about mentorship. Who is your mentor? And he's like, he goes, well, I'd have to say Kevin's my mentor right now. And I'm like, and he goes, he's hard on me. But he's loving, and he does it in a great way. And I'm just like, and my son is like my dad, and I'm like, dude, there's nothing more proud moment in this world that when your son tells you your dad's a mentor.
Yeah.
So when you think you have those doubts of things that are going on in your life, and Satan puts those lies in your head, and you're not doing a good job in doing these things, those moments arise. And so that's the fuel that would feed in. So back really kind of to circle into the question is, what do we do as men is we have to have that alignment. We have to lead these kids to Christ. Yeah. That's what it means. I'm inviting them to Bible studies. I'm inviting them to do Gentry's 21st birthday. They're like, oh, we're going to go out and, we're going to go to a strip club and it's first and we're going to drink. And he's like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that. I'm like, well, let's have a party here. I'll order pizza. We'll do this. And here's a kid that's pretty hip, pretty cool, really kind of good in the industry of the truck industry we're at. Everybody kind of knows him. He's an amazing painter in the things he's doing and stuff. And he wants to just hang out with the boys. Yeah. Doesn't want to go drinking, doesn't want to go party, doesn't want to do this. That none of that interests him because he doesn't want to let God down.
Wow.
And that's a 21-year-old kid.
Yeah.
So my alignment is where it needs to be. It wasn't for part of that 26 years of the marriage.
Yeah.
It was about Kevin, it was about money, it was about finance, it was about acquiring, it was about wealth, it was about all those things. Mm-hmm. But now that my alignment is changing, I can see things that are happening in my business that are changing for the positive. God's starting to honor me back in my business and bring me the clients to grow my company because my alignment is right. I don't care if you look at it from a worldly standpoint, the yin versus the yang, all that stuff is priorities have to be set. And God even says, you will reap what you sow. And that is a promise to the world, not just Christians. Mm-hmm. That's to the world. So it's when you put good and you do good and you do the right things, you'll have that stuff come back to you. People say, well, it's the universe, whatever it may be, Yeah. I just happen to believe in the guy that created the universe.
Right. It's God's universe. Yeah. It's God's economy.
It's God's economy. It's his universe.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome, man. So we are going through this series at my church right now called, it's basically like the power of peace. And so it's talking about how we get peace from, are we seeking God's will or our own will? Mm-hmm. Are we seeking prayer daily, or are we just kind of doing it our own way and kind of ignoring God and ignoring prayer? So one of the things that was really impactful for me was we talked about, looking at things through the lens of, are we doing this for God's will or for our own will? Yeah. Well, you had a really simple answer for me when I asked you that. I said, how do you discern where you're going, right? Especially in business, we talk about board of advisors, right? Board of advisors, people that can be around you. But when
that's where the wisdom comes in.
Yeah. How do you know if you're going for, if your business decisions or your life decisions are pointing towards God's will, or you're veering off and leaning toward your own?
It's and I talk about this all the time is, God's will is not this treasure that's on a map somewhere that you have to find that, he's not trying to hide it from you. It's really, really simple.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Love God with all your heart, all your soul, all your might. Love your neighbor as yourself. It's that principle of where is your alignment again? Mm-hmm. If I'm in God's word and I'm seeking him in prayer. Okay, your wife, how did you get to know her?
We dated.
You spent time with her, right?
Spent time together, yeah.
Right? So do you think you could have married your wife and got to know her if you only talked to her on the phone?
No, you'd have to have that personal relationship.
Right, that personal relationship, yeah. You can get some knowledge from her about who she is on the phone and all that stuff, but you never get to see her. You don't know what she looks like.
Right.
You don't know anything else stuff. Well, the only way you get to spend time and get to know who God is reading his word. Spending time in prayer with him, spending time in fellowship with other believers, getting wisdom that is passed down from pastors, Bible studies, those things. That's what God wants.
Yeah.
He wants to know. Now, look, people are like, well, God knows you. He created you. He knows everything. Okay, I'm creating a shirt. One of the designs is, maybe you need Christ, maybe Christ needs you. Now, I've had so many pastors like, well, Christ doesn't need anybody. Well, why are we here? I thought he told me to go out and share the gospel with all the world.
Yeah.
I mean, he could just wave a wand and get to know me.
Yeah.
No.
Or just share the gospel.
Right,
yeah.
I mean, he's already done it in his creation. If you go, look, he's shared the gospel.
Right.
We're just too stupid to not notice it, I mean, look at everything. The sun, the moon, the stars, the way plants, and look at springtime right now. Everything is, rising. Animals are getting birthed, pregnant. I mean, come on.
Right. It's all around.
It's all around you.
What's the best way you found to share the good news with people? Like, how do you look for opportunities to share the word with individuals when you come across? I mean, that's how we met, was on a plane where you were actually ministering to a lady who was very inebriated, and you were helping her, you prayed with her, right? And I was like, dude, we gotta hang out. That's how we got to meet. And I think you were very Christ-like for forgiving me for talking too loud on my phone when I walked in. But after that,
it's funny how God, because I look over at you and I'm like, "Come on, bro, you're so loud,"
You're like, dude, really?
And then all of a sudden at the end, here we are,
I was talking to my video editor actually. So. I was
awesome.
investing in our future relationship.
Who knew we were going to be investing in our future in that flight?
Yeah. So I've seen you share the word with others, just in places where it was appropriate. That's something that I'm looking to expand in. That's why I'm doing this in my podcast. Because I want to start sharing more of my faith with people that I get to share
you have a
videos
platform
with. Yeah,
absolutely. You have a platform, and it's I love. And again, I'll get heat on this from some of the pastors in the past, is Frank Sansis of Assisi's. Go and share the gospel with all the world. When all else fails, use your words. I mean, we should be able to live it.
Yeah.
People should look at us and what's different about Daniel?
Yeah.
Why does his wife love on him? Why do his kids the way they are?
Yeah.
Why does he have joy? People say, well, I just want to be happy. Happy is momentary. Right. Joy only comes from the Lord. And it's that peace. You talk about peace. It's that peace of knowing that I am a child of the living God. That he cares so much about me that he knows the numbers of the hairs on my head. The lack thereof, why I wear a hat. No. But all joking aside, he knows that stuff. If he's going to feed the sparrows of the air, why? I mean, how much more valuable are we?
Right.
So he knows me. He knows my heart. I just get so excited. We talked about the plane today. Another planes, man. They're my gig. I love ministering.
That's where you minister. Yeah, you should have a ministry like.
I just go catch on flights, right? I would do a podcast of me
holding babies and praying for people. And...
Oh yeah, I held a baby today. Mom was there. The kid came to me. I mean, half the flight, from here from Boise to Phoenix, I've got the child, and it ends up that we know each other, and I've done business with their family, and
crazy.
But okay, so. I never told them I was a Christian. I never preached to them, but I showed them love by holding their child, helping them. It started off where the baby squirted this stuff on her arm. I gave her my napkin, and these little things, and then all of a sudden the baby comes to me, and then they're able to get their stuff done. I'm holding the baby's entertained, almost falls asleep. That's awesome. And so these things happen, and it's just I didn't have to tell them I was a Christian. I showed them.
Yeah.
And then she asked me, she's like, well, what do you do? And I said, I run a youth ministry teaching kids and how to research. She goes, oh my gosh, we own, Martindale's, thing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you just put the shell on my truck last, 4 weeks ago from ARE. They sponsored it. You guys took care of everything. And then I'm like, you did the other one. And I'm like, you've done 5 of my trucks. And she's like, oh my gosh, I did it. And so then it's just like you open that door.
Yeah.
And she's now a counselor and she's a Christian. So we're talking about Christ and the guy next to me's hearing it. Literally the whole first class section was intrigued into our 3-person conversation.
That's what happened on our flight too. Well, our church has a mission statement. It's point people to Jesus by loving them like Jesus.
100%.
And I think you've shown a great example of that. One thing that I love from earlier was I was asking all these business questions and you came out to kind of just you were like, dude, today's yours. What can I do to help you, right? And one of the questions I asked you, I said, Kevin, you got all these different businesses. You got a lot going on. You got a lot of people that you're responsible for, a lot of people you serve. I said, how do you have time to come out to my office and sit with me for a whole day? I can barely even make a few minutes to go take my dad out to lunch.
Yeah.
And you're sitting here for a whole day with me, and you say, because it's not my time, it's God's time. Why wouldn't I give it?
Yeah, it's not my money.
Expand on that. That's a level of abundance that, we talk about the abundance mindset on this channel a lot. But that's a whole other level of abundance that's something that I'm working and seeking out every day of how do I give God's time freely and not look at it as
Look, man, for you guys, I'm sure people that know me, my ex and thing or watches, I was not always this way. This has been, a journey of, I call it isolation away from my wife and those things and that love and all that stuff, of really figuring out who Kevin Keep is. Mm-hmm. Who do I want to be? Mm-hmm. Do I want to be known as the businessman? Do I want to be known as the nonprofit guy? I want to be known as a God-fearing man. I want to be David. I want to be a man after God's own heart.
Yeah.
So I don't live in time and space of, it's not my time.
Yeah.
I have an appointed time that I'll be with my Heavenly Father. He's going to take me when He takes me.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's 200 miles an hour in a car into the back of a truck, or whether it's slipping on a banana peel in the shower. My time's going to come. But the time that I have here, how can I help you? So what is 24 hours? What is 12 hours of my day to come here and pour into you and help you?
Dude, that impact you have with me is, I've already been texting my team. I'm like, dude, you can't wait. So, everybody get ready for tomorrow because it's going to be on. We're going to be team building. We're going to be loving.
Okay,
we're going to be
how awesome is that, though?
Yeah.
Look at that. And for me, honestly, selfishly, it just, all the things we've talked about has reminded me, I got to I've got to sharpen. Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
We've had some hard conversations.
Yeah.
We've had some serious. We've had some fun, laughter conversations.
Yeah.
But it's that ironing, sharpening iron. How do we make each other better? It's not what can I get from Daniel. It's what can I give to Daniel.
Man, that's
What
powerful.
has God given me that I can offer you?
Yeah.
What has God given you that you can offer me? It's not a tit for tat.
Yeah.
It might be right now, I give to you. 6 years from now, I might call you and say, Daniel, I got to learn what am I going to do? I'm going to sell the company. I have this money. Where do I put it?
Right.
I'm freaking out. I don't
Yeah.
want to do all this stuff. Like, how do I secure this?
You don't have to worry.
Right, this is it. I mean, so selfishly we are plugging this stuff
Right.
because this is what we do, but we don't do it out of selfish gain.
Right.
We all have to make a living. We all have bills to pay.
Sure.
We all have wants. Most importantly, we all have needs.
Mm-hmm.
But when you put your trust in God and you put your faith in Him and realize He really is going to provide for us,
Amen.
and dude, how hard is that as a man? Like, this is what we were talking
From
about.
a worldly view, it's scary.
Even as look, man, let's be honest. Even as a Christian side,
Yeah.
it's scary,
Right.
Because we've learned doubt,
Right.
we've learned fear,
Right.
we've learned insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
All these things have festered in us. Am I really going to be able to make it? Am I really, dude? I struggle with trust at times. Okay, Lord, my brother Johnny used to always say, Lord, I don't mind going through the trial, but let's go through it fast. Let me learn this lesson quickly because I don't want to be stuck here for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't mind going through it. Well, unfortunately, I've been on a long trial, but I've learned to be comfortable in my trial.
Yeah.
That God has me here for a reason.
Wow.
And the fact that you invited me out here and you made an offer for me to come out here, why would I not want to come out here and spend the day with you and hang out and help you, and I get to learn from things and sharpen myself as well.
It's been awesome, man. I'm so grateful.
Dude, I want to come back out. Like,
I know.
I want to come out every week. I need to
we should.
get my pilot's license so I can start flying out myself.
Dude, you're somebody that I look up to in terms of, you've raised a family, you've had a very long marriage. We talked about that a lot.
Yeah.
You've built companies, you've gone through trials.
I've lost companies. I've lost more than I made sometimes, I think.
You've built back. From your definition, because we do talk about finances on this channel a lot, like, what is your definition of wealth? Because you're really good at defining things. Like, to you, like, what does a wealthy life look like?
So, we always go to the financial.
Right.
We look at that, but that's not it. I look at my kids in Bible study and ministering to other kids. Dude, that's abundance.
Yeah.
That is it. They are taking what I know to be truth and seeing it in me and starting to realize that Dad isn't always full of it, and taking that torch and passing it on. It's the things that they're doing. They're helping other people.
Yeah.
It's the duplication. It's the money is there, but the money is a tool. We talked about that.
Right. I love your concept of money and how it's a tool.
It's just a tool.
Yeah.
There's comedians out there that say money can't buy happiness. Yes, it can buy a Sea-Doo. No one's ever unhappy on a Sea-Doo. I'm never unhappy when I'm riding a Sea-Doo unless I crash. But, it does. But that buys you moments of happiness. The joy is the Lord that's inside. The money can do things for others. I can help people.
Yeah.
I can help someone that needs some groceries. I can help a kid that, a buddy of mine that, needed a car for his son and it broke down. We were able to get the parts. My son was able to repair it. And that's it. It's not my money.
Yeah.
It's God. So,
right.
We just help the kid be able to have a car, to get to his job, to do what he does, to better his life. Like, dude, that's exciting to me.
Right. Yeah, that is a whole other level.
It's exciting to me to watch them flourish, to not have that stress.
Yeah.
So that's wealth is, a happy family. You got two beautiful daughters. Absolutely love his kids. They're so adorable. She comes up, gives me a hug. The other one's like, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
A wife that's here, talking about her day and the struggles of things with the kids. And it's just, dude, you're wealthy.
Yeah.
You are absolutely, incredibly a billionaire in that world.
Yeah.
And so that's it. Look, you got a nice home. You got nice cars.
Yeah.
You got a lot of nice things.
Yeah.
The world says you've arrived. You're successful.
Right. Well, yeah.
In a certain element.
Yeah.
We're not billionaires flying around in corporate jets and stuff. But go talk to those people. They're miserable. Most of them are.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, why do you think all the stars and all these people just do stupid things and go these things? Because they can't find any happiness in it.
Yeah.
We all have a hole in our heart. Okay, we're born with that hole. The only plug that fits in that hole is Jesus Christ. You just got to choose to put him in there.
Yeah.
You know, so dude, I mean, that's wealth. It's not the money.
That's so awesome.
You know,
I love it, brother. Dude, thank you for coming out and doing this.
Oh, no.
I want to have you out again. We're going to do this again.
Yeah.
So, how do people connect with you? Like, if they want to connect with the ministry, if they want to get involved, if they want to give, if they want to know more, what's the best place to reach you?
Google Kevin Keep. No, I'm just kidding. You'll find a lot of terrible stuff. No, you know, our ministry, I think, you know, the most important thing for me is we run a program called Rebuilding Generations. Mm-hmm. We teach kids how to restore, rebuild cars every Tuesday night. And, you know, it's not an inexpensive program to run. It takes a lot of money to run it. But, you know, we have anywhere from, you know, 30 to 40 guys in that program every week, summertime, even more.
How many kids have you helped get jobs through that program?
Over 28 kids in industry-related jobs, you know. Numerous kids' transformation of their life and quality and faith. And you know, that's obviously my most important is faith. But look, I understand ROI for sponsors. It's about the jobs and putting them out there.
Yeah.
And not only are these kids in jobs, I mean, they're thriving in these jobs because we teach them about show up 15 minutes early. You don't clock in and then go visit your buddy and then go to the bathroom and then go do those things. You show up 15 minutes early, you talk to your buddy, you check in, you do all that stuff. So when you clock in, you're there working.
Yeah.
That's stealing from that company. You're stealing their time. You know, what does it mean to be honorable? You know, do you take that pen home? Do you do these things? You know, what is integrity? You know, someone gives you back an extra $5 out of a $20 bill when it was really a 10 you gave them. You know, do you give it back or do you keep it?
Yeah.
You know, those are things that we're trying to teach that we've lost that in society. It's like, well, that's, you know, look at God gave me $10 because, you know, I was meant to have it. No, God tested you to see if you were going to obey him and do the right thing. You know, so we teach a lot of those principles in there.
That's awesome.
And so that's fun. You know, my company's Study Buddies. It's a patented bath toy that I love. It came through a tragedy in my life of a brother who died from a heart attack on a lake one day from me getting checked out, having a stroke, and having to go through that process of healing. And a warm bath was what I needed. And so that's how that product developed, and it's been doing really great. We love it. And, you know, you want to connect with me? Seriously, you can Google Kevin Keep. You'll find me. I own Study Buddies. I own Zompers. Rebuilding Generations is my nonprofit. And look me up on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Lemonade, whatever.
You're all over, man. Seriously, Study Buddy is awesome. My girls absolutely love it. I think it's incredible, and I love the message behind Study Buddy. You know, that you're sharing even your faith in your company.
It was the last, I call it my last hurrah. 54 years old, and I wanted one last product that had my passion for life and kids and fun and artistic creativities, but most importantly, my passion for Christ. And how did I marry those two together? And so you have to go check out Study Buddy.
Yeah, you have to check it out.
We've got 3 series of the comics already out. We're going to be posting some of those things. Each character has its own personality. They come to life, and you get to see who they are. They're going to meet some Z-Pals from land, which they're all from Noah's Ark, and that's where the biblical side comes in. And so it's a lot of fun. And I've never had one person ever say, well, that was stupid.
Oh, it's great. We're a Dakota Duck family.
Are you a Dakota Duck? I'm Sammy the Shark, man, because I'm crazy. I'm all over the map.
Yeah. My little one's Sammy. My older is Dakota, probably.
Yeah.
So, we're big Study Buddy fans. Kevin, thanks so much for joining us, man. We really appreciate you.
Dude, thanks for having me, man. I greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate you.